All right, we are officially streaming on YouTube.
There we go.
Oh, shoot, Josh. Okay. So I'll start off. That's sucked. Doing all the tech stuff is just crappy and not fun, man. It is just getting this to stream with the software, not fun. And I know you had a tractor last week. How are you doing, man? You're smiling, I'm gonna smile too.
Yeah. Tractor truck things got stuck, messed up. Got
Tractor truck, things got stuck, all messed up.
yeah, yeah. I could write that on a hillbilly postcard, huh?
On the what?
On a hillbilly postcard.
Hillbilly postcards. Well, you're in a good mood right now. Why are you so happy?
Because I'm on the meeting, man, and I'm getting to where I just really enjoy our meetings. I'm sorry I missed
You,
it
you
last
love the
week.
meeting.
I did, yeah. I'm happy because of the meeting,
How
right?
many times do you do a Zoom call throughout the week?
Me,
Hmm.
uh, boy, like zero, one now.
So I do six a day, seven a day sometimes.
Yeah. I don't like them. Uh,
Well,
If like normally like somebody like and I know it's normal, like Ashley does like 20 a day, right? So
yeah.
like uh I'm just not used to it. I'll drive 20 minutes across town and we'll meet and talk about what we're gonna talk about. Uh yeah. I
So this
I
is
could
all.
still survive in a world with a flip phone.
All right. I want to talk about, and if you have anything on your mind, let me know too. Thoughts, beliefs, okay, and how it impacts your purpose, your performance, your revenue, your happiness, your income. But I have a hypothesis that our thoughts, which are powered by our beliefs, and our emotions, well, if we can control our mind and do some reprogramming of the mind, people aren't going to be so depressed, have all these diseases, all this unhappiness, all this unemployment, all this unhomeliness. And I believe that the mind and our thinking is the first thing that we need to start teaching in schools, teaching in courses, teaching everywhere, because if we teach ourselves and others how to think and how important they are, it changes everything.
Yeah, so I don't disagree with you at all. I have a question. Do you
Yeah.
think that are certain realms of people, classes that teach those things where they don't teach them to other parts or they teach that in a different way?
Yes.
I
I think it's
100%
called
believe so.
I think it's called the upper class. I think they teach how important it is to keep their minds focused on what they want, what they desire, and they won't allow their kids to think poor, think not good enough, think thoughts that they're, and they teach them to think wealthy and how to attract money. And it's like the only way they're allowed to think and talk in that house.
Well, I also think that the very poor class subconsciously, they know it too. And that's why the very poor a lot of times become very wealthy and very successful. And
Well, give
most
me
of
an
them,
example. Give me an example of, like, say I grow up in a poor family and all they ever talk about is not enough money to pay the bills, don't have enough money to make ends meet, can't afford this, can't afford that. I get all these stories programmed in my head. How do I change those programs and flip it where prosperity, abundance, and wealth is it's
well,
all I align my brain to think.
let's just say sports in general a lot, right?
Well,
You
sports and money are different. Sports is your body. You can do your body.
no,
Money, a lot of poor people are taught you better get your ass to work and do a lot of work. And if you don't have enough money, work more. You're
no,
not
because
working
then a
enough.
lot of sports people actually become it's really hard for them to hold on to their money and their body lets go once they're no
Oh,
longer
I
to
see what you're saying.
achieve at that high level. But they
Or
work
someone that won the lottery, they get all these millions of dollars. 2 years later, they're bankrupt.
correct. Correct. So, this is funny because I've got a couple questions here, and it's rolling right in. Um,
Are they in line with what I was bringing up?
they're really, really close. You know.
Alignment.
So, anyways, so your poor kid he works really hard, works twice as hard as everybody else, and he gets a football scholarship, right? Why did he do that? Because he was the best and his home life was shit and he worked harder. Nothing was easy for him. And then he goes to college and he has to work twice as hard as the other kids. Maybe he's not as smart because he went to a poor school, and then boom, he finally makes it to the NFL. And yeah, but he's got it. He's set. And Mike Tyson, right? Don't they say a lot of stuff about Mike Tyson being raised up poor in the ghetto back in the 80s or whatever, right? And a lot of fighters, MMA. Boy, a lot of people from real hard backgrounds come from. They don't come from easy places, and that's what gives them the drive. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they've got the drive because but that's how they don't have. I don't think they automatically get the thinking of I am deserving of all this wealth and prosperity. I
I
think
think they
somewhere
think the
along
exact opposite.
right. So unless someone along the way teaches them to start thinking, like, reprogramming their neural pathways in their subconscious to be programmed for wealth is my birthright. I earned it. I have it. I'm gonna keep having it. I'm gonna have more. I know
So
when
I
I
think
got
that's
really
where the upper
wealthy.
class gets it taught to them, what you were saying. So from a very young age, they get that taught to them, and so that's how they believe, and then therefore that's how they live. Now, when you get like poor, low class people, you got some of those that achieve over all odds. They said, you know what? It doesn't matter what it takes. I'm going to hustle. If it hurts, I'm going to push it through. And they're going to work twice as hard, 3 times as hard to make that happen, to become successful, to become an athlete, to become, a math genius, to become the president of the bank in town or whatever it is you're trying to do. They're going to work harder and then they're going to be more successful because just because your parents were rap stars doesn't mean you're going to do anything with your life.
Let me give you an example.
Okay.
I made a tremendous amount of money, more than I've ever had, more than my family ever had, when I created the gym. And I was that guy. I would go to there at 5 a.m. I wouldn't leave until 9. I would do whatever it took, sell, coach, train. Man, making more money than I thought possible. I did not consciously decide to start doing things that sabotaged it.
I don't think you do.
But I did. And
Yeah.
that's the automatic programming we have, that all those years of thinking I'm poor white trash, I don't have this coming, but always thinking I'm gonna prove it, I'm gonna prove it, I'm gonna prove it. When you're always in that proving mode, when you finally do prove it, like something didn't swift shift in me into that this is who I am now. This is my identity now. It was still proving.
100%. 100%. So I'm going to change it just a little bit because I agree with you. And I think it's going to go with, I wrote down, I think it's like four little things I wrote down.
All right, before you say that, my thing is exploring how we shift our energetic identity, our core programming, say our brain's a computer, to switch that into abundance, prosperity, and nothing to prove, just something to be.
Mm-hmm.
That way, our good stuff, and this is weight loss too, it's anything, is add the addiction, it lasts long term and becomes our new identity instead of something we're still trying to prove. That's the
Yeah.
core. That's where I want to
Yes.
get.
Yeah. So the first question, because you're way into the science of this stuff more than I am, but I have learned a little bit of something new that I wanted to ask you about.
Perfect.
And I guess there was this science study somehow, and they talked to water in very positive meanings.
Oh my
And
God. The
the
Japanese
water
doctor.
turned to crystal as it froze, and the way they talked to it would determine on the crystal. So if they talked to it in all very positive, very nice way, then the water would freeze into a beautiful looking snowflake at the molecular level. And then if they talked to it and thought about it in a negative way, it just turned into like, just a blob of shit snowflake, So if that's doing that then, and our bodies are 70% water, if we go down to a molecular level, are all of our cells, and how does that work? Are all our
Dude,
cells thinking the same way? So if we're around positivity and stuff, the cells in our body are like a snowflake, little tentacles bringing in the good. And then if we're just always in the bad, then why is it just natural?
dude, you have just touched on cellular metaphysics. And the study of the water study you're talking about, I have it up right here. It is by Dr. Masuro Imaro.
Yeah, the Japanese fella.
Yeah, exposing water samples to different stimuli, words, music, written messages even, and then freezing it, examining the resulting ice crystals. So this has been replicated in other studies with water and also your guy that you told me about,
Yes.
the Mike Adams show. He did one too. He did it with a different element that freezes really fast. What was it? I don't remember, but basically it didn't matter if it was words you wrote, words you said, or music you played that had a positive intention versus, and a key word here is intention, or the negative stuff with negative intention. Our intention is the power to direct consciousness. This is the whole thing that's breaking crazy in science right now, is what is consciousness? Consciousness is an energy that affects everything, but at a subatomic level, it only starts appearing. But what you're bringing up with the water, man, it's subatomic appearing in physical 3D that we can see.
Yeah.
But that shit's happening to us all day long.
Right. So yeah. Yeah, and our bodies are 70% water is what we've been taught, correct?
100%. And the Earth is more than 70% water.
Yeah, it's 90%. That's why it's a blue planet, right?
And that's why our intentions, our level of consciousness is impacting the health of the planet as a whole, affecting everyone around us, and impacting ourselves the most. And
Yeah,
it
so
starts with our free will. It starts with our thoughts.
okay, so great. Next question is it's a very short list. Yeah.
No,
So
this is a fucking great question. I might have said F by accident. Great question because water is one of the things that links
water is life.
water. Yeah, it's amazing because you can control it and do great things with it, but out of control, it will ruin things. And you can hold it in a container, you can move it, but it eventually does whatever it wants.
But it's pulling its energy or whatever out of the universe, right? Somewhere, something.
What if it's the great connector, the great source of flow? What if it is a physical representation of flow?
Yeah, something.
It is connected. It's connecting lots of things.
Yeah. All right. So then the next question on my little list here for tonight is why is it so?
Is that the hillbilly list?
Yeah.
No, it's not, dude. That's the quantum hillbilly right there. That's the quantum hillbilly list.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna add two questions into one for you this evening, and it's a two-part one question. Then therefore, why is it so hard to stay positive, and why is it so easy to stay negative?
Come on, man. You already know the answer.
I'm asking you.
When you're a baby, you're positive as AF unless you're hungry, tired, cold, or you just wet your britches. But other than that, you're curious and you're positive and you've got oxytocin flowing and everything feeling good, all your nervous systems creating those feel good hormones, you're curious about things, unless you're a baby that was born to a mom who was going through trauma, going through stress, or that baby was in the womb, and that poor baby is going to come out stressed out already. But what happens through this earth experience is we get yelled at and told we're not good enough. We experience lack, we experience shit, and we don't realize it, but everything our conscious mind absorbs, our subconscious gets it right away. So what we think about the most, our subconscious memorizes the most and becomes our automatic program. So if someone else is yelling at us, telling us we're not worth a damn, even though we're saying we know better, we're still hearing it and we're still processing it and it's still getting programmed into our subconscious. And our subconscious is running 95% of our decisions.
100%. We've talked about that. So, is what you're saying is it's all part of the free will process?
Yes and no, because we don't decide that we're gonna what is in our environment all the time. We can't always control our environment. Like right now, I control my environment. I will not let people in my environment unless they are going to enhance the energy so the water's going to crystallize beautifully.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But in my childhood and throughout my life, that wasn't always the case. In fact, honestly, I was that sneaky bastard that acted really nice and kind because I was manipulating because I wanted something from you. And it looks good on the outside, but people in tune with their third eye or in tune with their intuition, they could feel it.
Yeah.
And I would have made that water ugly. Even though I look good and look nice and talk really pretty, I would have made the water ugly because my intentions and what I was really thinking were different than what I was acting like. That's what
So
matters.
somehow the feelings around us, the connector that you're talking about, is deciding that. So then it's still free will for us to be positive or to be negative.
We can change it. 100%. Our free will is how we have to reprogram the subconscious. That's the only way.
Yeah. And the only way to grow that and to make that better is to practice at it every chance that we get. Right?
In fact, not only every chance. One thing there's 3 steps. One, we have to become vigilantly aware of what's going on in our emotional body and our thinking mind right away. And anything that's not, and this is a proven step that will work for anyone. When you ever notice a negative emotion or thought, you say to yourself, who is thinking that it's taking too long to keep set up the streaming and it's too big of a pain in the butt and who's thinking that and feeling stressed? I am. And then you ask, who am I? And you let that sit. And you realize you're not your thinking mind. And then the next thing you say is, God, universe, source, whatever name you give the highest power, God, please help me. Fix my mind.
Yeah. And if we're rolling around with a bunch of beautiful snowflakes in our system, we're going to attract the beautiful other snowflakes.
100%. You are talking quantum mechanics right now.
Yeah. Okay. So.
And you're also talking about the Holy Spirit, as far as Christians are concerned. This is the Holy Spirit emanating throughout your actions and your vibration, so you attract more Holy Spirit and more Holy Spirit opportunities and more Holy Spirit people and more Holy Spirit environments. Or you can say higher vibration. Like the Christ consciousness is the highest vibration.
It's the same thing.
Same thing.
It's the same thing. Yeah. But if you walk around negativity all the time, that's what you're going to attract, right?
And if you froze the water in your body, it would be ugly. And you know what? You don't have to freeze the water in your body. I'm sorry if anybody's watching this and you have cancer, because I feel for you. But that's why you get cancer.
There's a big debate on that. Yes, yeah, yeah. It's stress, it's chemicals and things and everything. It's off balance. 100%. Yeah,
Our body gets sick because we are circulating, trapping negative vibrational energy.
yeah. All right,
Oh,
I
wait.
agree.
And the thing that
Okay,
makes us the sickest is when we are acting like everything's so good, but really we're feeling like shit inside.
and we're holding it in, and then our body wants to attack it, and then we get a cancer cell and
We get sick.
a
We get sick.
mass, a dark mass inside of us, and then yeah, that's what I think.
Well, science is now proving what you think is right. It's just doctors, allopathic doctors, don't want to say, yes, there is a strong connection between the mind, body, and spirit, which is this energy we don't see. Because the energy we're talking about is the energy you don't see. Not with our eyes, anyway.
Right, right, right. And that's why it's only becoming science now because developed microscopes that can actually be able to see this happen and record it into real time. So they used to talk how certain things in the body, when they didn't have very good microscopes, looked like comets, looked like the stars, you know. And then as were able to drill further into them, not, I mean, look further into them, they're like, oh my gosh, these are certain things. So you reckon that like a comet out in space looks the same way the human body is a lot regulated?
Dude, everything's a universe. Everything is a repeating sacred geometry universe. Everything. And they almost always have the numbers 12, 3, 6, and 9 in them. Everything from
Yeah.
our cells to the actual universe to a tree to a piece of dirt to a piece, everything has its own little universe.
Explain 12, 3, 6, and 9. And
It's
I
the
know it's
sacred,
hard.
it's the sacred geometry, and there's also called something called the Fiberian. I can't pronounce it right. It starts with an F. Um, Ratio that everything gets that certain amount bigger. And the thing that really got me 12 was Jesus had 12 apostles. Horus, the first Jesus, same story, Virgin Mom, everything, had 12 apostles. And this keeps repeating with 12, 12, 12. So I don't know enough about numerology to explain it to you in a way that I feel confident about. But the more I see the 12s going around with all these spiritual leaders, I'm like, whoa, why did every spiritual leader have 12 apostles? And the 369, I don't know enough about it to talk about it, but I think that in a day I could.
Yeah, it's definitely a proven fact and maybe something that there again, they don't want us to learn about. So it's something we'll have to dig into.
There are cheat codes and that we don't know about, but the thing we do know is that our thoughts are going to have the most immediate impact on our life experience.
100%. 100%. So at the end of my little question list here, right?
I love your question list, by the way.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
I was so stressed out about streaming this and trying to get that restream thing to work. I was like, but your questions, man, light me up. I like them. I love them.
Okay, so the reason I brought up a question list and those were a couple short questions. And then I just wanted to follow it up tonight with so I live in the same town as the largest company in the world,
What is the largest company in the world?
Walmart.
Oh,
Okay? Same
and
town.
that's a company with a lot of different energies.
we're not going to talk about that, but that I live in the same town, and this is, I think, talking about business and how to go and how to move things and this and that. So the reason I bring that up is because every well, a lot of people from around the world are coming into my town this week, and they're spending probably hundreds of millions of dollars to bring them here. Private jets flying in, airports full, roads are full, concerts, fireworks. I mean, it's a big thing going on, right?
To shop at Walmart?
No, no,
I'm just
they're
kidding.
bringing the employees in, right? Or
The
special
top,
people
the
that
top
did
of the
good,
line.
huh?
The top employees.
I guess, yeah, or whatever, right? Or
There's a Walmart convention.
oh, 100%. It's all going on. So, and they're bringing them in from all over the world. And what I was getting at, why? If they're already successful and they're at the number one and they're on top, and tariffs are bad and this and that, everything's bad, right? Well, why would the biggest, most successful company in the world be spending millions of dollars bringing people here in person for a meeting? What's the reason? What do you
I
think?
think you already know 3 or 4 of the answers. But the answer I'm going to say is when you are around other successful people, around their vibration, and you're resonating with them, especially if you have a common goal together, your vibration elevates as well. And if they want to keep those executives on Walmart's team, they're going to feel more loyal, more connected because they were closer together. But just being around other successful people, the same room as them, will inevitably make you more successful.
Right, right. So the largest corporation in the world is investing millions of dollars for several hundred different people so that they can all have their blood change or whatever, the water change to a bunch of snowflakes like the Walmart little
Mm.
star, correct? So that they're resonating together and then they're all running in that same goal, to that same purpose.
But what if one of those guys is pondering a job from another company and is just bad mouthing Walmart, pointing out all the things that are wrong with it, while everyone else is trying to be positive about Walmart during that? What do they do with that guy?
Well, I mean, he's going to be an outsider. He's not even going to have a good time, right? I mean, they're putting on a fireworks show tonight that's so big that they told people in the town if you need to go somewhere else because of PTSD or something, that they will make accommodations for you.
They're
So,
going all out for their people,
and they do this every year. This isn't a one-time thing.
but they're not doing it for Jacob, the cashier that just started a month ago, or Sam, the guy, not Sam Walton, but let's call him Sammy, the guy that pushes the carts back in after people leave in the parking lot. They're not
I
doing it
mean,
for
I
them.
guess he has the opportunity to be invited someday, though.
It's a hierarchy, man.
But is what I'm getting at, just like you said, I think the idea is that so if water or good, kind, nice words can change water molecules or any kind of molecules into being either nice or ugly, and it's so hard to stay positive by ourselves, right? So you almost need or want, you have a desire to have somebody help you to stay positive. So if they can bring those people here just once a year, show them a great time, then hopefully they run on reserves for the rest of the damn year that they're going to keep moving in one direction, all together in the same. And
What
so
do you
if the largest company in the world is willing to do this, there's a reason. And it's that hidden knowledge that we don't know anything about, and there's something to it.
when you say knowledge, is this knowledge we can read on a piece of paper, and if we read it, we would know it?
Yeah. I think so. But then I think you have to read it and then practice it, and then you'll know it. Because 100%, you go to a football game or a baseball game, and your team's winning, and everybody's cheering, and you're happy, right? And then so that's your molecules getting down to that beautiful snowflake level, and then
Yes.
you lead the game, and you're still happy, you're excited, you won, even though you didn't do anything, right? So yeah, that's what I'm getting at. So I think it's very important for us to meet the once a week like we do, uh, to spend some money and some time and do some research just very easily, that it actually does mean something. And when we're around motivated people, happy people, it does change us in our cells somewhat. And yes, it is very hard to stay motivated if we're just listening to our brain.
Right.
And yeah, and that's very hard. And I think it's natural, and people should realize that, and then you should realize that emotion. And then sometimes you just have to go and have fun and have a little bit of reimbursement to say, you know what, you got this, we got it, and we're a team, and we'll do it together. And then that's how you start to build something great.
Dude, you just intermingled psychotherapy, quantum mechanics, spirituality, the power of community, and cellular biology, as well as hormonal endorphins, cortisol, serotonin, dopamine. Like all those things are interacting when you get into that heightened state.
Yeah,
And the worst thing a human can go through that will kill you faster than smoking is isolation, not being around other humans.
I don't disagree, but also the worst that'll kill you just as fast as being around too many and listening to outside stuff. You know what I mean?
The wrong humans, the
The
humans
the,
that
the
are
wrong
not.
humans. Yeah, yeah. So pick your crowd. Like,
Yeah, that's, and I think we automatically pick our crowds through our intuition and vibration. Like we can sense if someone's on a similar vibration frequency of us, just by being around them. Same happened to me with you. I was like, okay, this guy's fine. Looks different, talks different, acts different, has, I don't know, but he's fine.
yeah, yeah, yeah. 100%.
It's
It,
a energetic frequency
so
that we're emitting
yeah,
right
and
now.
they're bringing all these people here so that they can all put their frequencies together and get in
And
tune.
they will raise their frequencies higher together. You're right, and that'll last them throughout the year, and they'll come back and do another recharge next year.
Exactly.
And they'll probably come up with some great solutions when they're all together because they're going to be on a whole different frequency. As long as they're not like, oh, I hope Joe from that city doesn't think that I'm not as smart as him. And, if it's cooperative energy, it enhances everybody. But if it's like competitive, I want to be better than you energy, that changes things.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's all mindset. Yeah, there's goods or bads or positives or negatives. I just thought it was unique. I've been watching them fly in. I watched them fly over my house. I live by the airport, and a jet flew over, and I was like, wow, that's a big, pretty jet. So I looked it up, and the starting price was a 50. It starts at $54 million for.
$54 million to come to this thing.
I don't know where they were going. It's a private jet. You can't find that information, but it flew. Yes, that's the starting price. That doesn't count like how nice you want to make it on the inside.
Oh, so buying the jet costs that much.
I'm assuming they're coming here to Walmart. I don't think they're going to come look at the pretty trees in the Ozark Mountains, right? So,
Is that also in Arkansas?
yeah, yeah,
Dude, I love that show, Ozark, just so you know.
right. A bunch of us dumb hillbillies, yeah. Um,
Guys, but none of them were really that dumb.
yeah,
Like that girl, she was not dumb at all. She was smart as shit.
yeah. So anyway. that's just one of the things that I do. Anyway,
Dude, I had no idea that Arkansas was the ground central meeting place for the the Walmart crew.
yes, it is very much so. Very much so. I worked for a guy today that Mrs. Walton used to babysit him.
Do you feel an energy shift in your town from what's going on with all these high performers from Walmart coming in?
Yeah, but it's not a good one.
Is it resentful?
Yeah, no, not resentful. I don't like it. I don't like the
Because
change.
it's the change you don't
I
like.
don't like all the people. I don't like them bringing in their ideas and stuff. Just let us be. We're just fine. Y'all stay where you're at. You know. But at the same time, I want everybody to be the best they can. I'm just gonna be a little bit stingy, and I don't want to share everything we got.
But if you took your thinking out of it and just felt the energy vibration in your area without any thought, but just felt the vibration, I wonder if it would feel different because theoretically, the vibration in your area has elevated with all these people coming in that have that higher vibration
You
energy.
know what? I guarantee you're right. And I guess it just goes back to my little list. You're right. And is what most people do. Then they go to the negative because that's the easiest. And they say, just like I just did. And they're like, I don't like you here. You're raising taxes and the housing prices go up and y'all move from New York to California and you sell a house for $1 million and then you come buy a $500,000 house here when it used to cost, 150,000. We could afford it. Now we can't. And we don't like your politics. Y'all just do you run it. That's a negative, right? The positive is that you can say, you know what, I can start a business, I can do something, and then we can adapt and take everybody, and then it's going to be even better. So that's a better positive. So you can start a bigger business, you can grow a bigger business, you can have more even opportunities. We get fresh stuff flown in here daily and now whatever, right? So yeah, I guess there is positives, but I just automatically went to the negative side. But yes, I guarantee you, and that's vibing all the way around here because of all the other positivity that is going on. And it's so easy, and this is maybe the trick, it's so easy to always go to the negative side. But you're right, and you reminded me, thank you, that there's so many great opportunities because of it.
Dude, that's the human dilemma right now, is that every human on this planet is surrounded with opportunity and positive, but we train our brains, our unconscious, our reticular activating system, so we are always looking for the next shoe to drop, for the thing to go wrong, for the negative in it. And if this happens, it's automatically negative. When, by the law of polarity, every negative has a completely opposite, equally powerful positive that you can just shift your perspective and see it that way instead. But we don't. Like
And
there's
and then there's probably a you know so much opportunity in there that you'll never even see if you just stay in the positive.
and you're like a snowflake that's not hearing the pretty music playing. You're just hearing the ugly music playing and hearing the ugly words because there's both there. Because we get the free will of where we're going to direct our attention to.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
when we have positive around us, but all we're directing our attention to is a negative, then it's going to affect us more than anybody else.
correct,
But it's,
correct.
dude, I mean, that is the key to any positive change is deciding, accepting that there's a different way to see it and ask for help. Ask for help. Ask for help from your higher power. Ask for help from another person. Like, how could I see this in a way that's going to make my snowflakes beautiful?
Yeah, yeah. The higher power, or just like you and I talking in good conversation, that you know what? Hey, you just corrected me. I was looking at everything in the negative, and you're like, oh my gosh, can you imagine the energy around there? And I'm like, you're right.
Yeah, dude.
You're right. I should be. And I do feel it because then they're pushing themselves to be better, so it makes me push myself to be better. So yeah,
Even when we were at the David Bear event, and I didn't think about being jealous of him on the stage talking instead of me. And I didn't think about, okay, is this girl over here? I didn't think about what others were thinking of me. All I felt was the energy without my thought. It felt great, and I felt charged after every session.
Yeah.
You had a different experience, I bet, because you didn't like all the crowded people. You didn't like all that. So you're thinking in your mind probably something different until that shifted more and more. I mean, what was your experience around that?
I think David's a good dude.
But
That-
I'm talking about the energy of all those people at one place at the same time.
I thought it was good. Yes, the energy of all the people all at the same time was great. Yes.
We have something in our bodies that lets us feel that energy
Yeah.
without thinking about it.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, it goes back to my thing. So if molecules, beautiful, nice snowflakes are ugly, so hard. It's so easy to stay negative. So once we get into the positive, that's where we want to stay at, and we have to have the subconscious to realize when we're switching from one to the next, and then the conclusion to that is basically just why is the largest, most successful company in the world doing the same fucking thing? They're just it's right here, and they're spending a lot of money to do that.
lots of companies do it. Not in
Exactly.
Arkansas, but they
Yeah,
do it because,
because it makes sense, and they
yeah.
want everybody to have snowflakes in their veins.
And you and I are talking about it, yet we're not even involved in it. And I would say that if I allow myself, there's a certain amount of envy that I don't have a private jet. And I go, oh, right away, recognize the envy, release it, and realign with, yeah,
Someday I'll have a private jet.
yeah, I have these hands, I have this brain, I have this connection to source. What's stopping me? I can do anything I set my mind to. I can have anything I set my mind to, but you have to consistently set your mind to it.
Correct.
Consistently. I mean, we're
Yeah.
talking even while you're sleeping, all hours of the day.
Yeah.
There's no room for the negative self-doubt and negative self-talk anymore.
Yeah.
I read it, man, years ago. I saw a billboard or something. It said, "We can no longer afford to think negative thoughts." John Lennon. I was
Right.
like, whatever, dude. I didn't get it. Now I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's not just all thinking positive thoughts, is the best way, and it sounds great because it's easy. Then you have to put the action in, and then deal with the negative thoughts as
Dude,
you're
you have to do
trying to,
positive things while you're thinking the positive thoughts. You can't sit on your ass and just think positive and think that's going to
or
do it.
or say you have to do the positive things while you're thinking the negative thoughts, which makes them 10 times as hard. That's where you're starting to dig out, and then that's when it starts to become easier. Does that make sense?
Yeah, what I'm hearing is like if I'm having these negative thoughts, I'm depressed, I'm mad, I'm angry, I'm resentful, then go out and do some positive, healthy exercise. Go out and pick some litter off the ground. Go out and help somebody to do something. Like the best way to get out of your own head is to be of service to someone else.
Watch a great motivational video on YouTube.
Yeah,
Just like I don't want to. I'm mad and I'm in a bad mood. Yeah.
we
Watch
have to
Tony Robbins.
decide.
Watch Tony Robbins and put an earbud in and go work out and go for a walk or whatever. Like, yeah. And
We
then
have to decide that we have to choose our energy state, and to choose our energy state, sometimes we have to take in someone else's positivity, like Tony Robbins,
yeah.
and we can do something positive, but we have full control over it. We just don't realize how much control we have because those negative emotions are so overwhelming.
Oh, they make it real easy to sit your ass in the couch and watch, American Idol or something. Like that's all you have to do. You don't have to do nothing. You don't have to answer the door. You don't have to clean the house. You don't have to take a shower. You don't have to get up and get dressed. It could be just that easy. When you're feeling bad and you just don't want to do nothing, you just got to get up there and You can have all the negative thoughts in the world, but if you put your positivity into action, it will start to change.
Action is a key word.
Yeah.
I think that's like a lot of those positive thinking gurus and stuff. They're missing the mark. That all it takes is positive thinking and knowing what you want and visualizing it. That's all helpful, but unless you're taking action that's aligned with that, it's nothing's going to happen different.
Not, yes, I agree. 100%. Yeah.
It's the action with intention and just keep doing it until it
Until
starts
it becomes
showing
a
up.
habit.
Yeah. And
It's
just
easy. The subconscious just kicking in now,
well, that's what subconscious is. It's our habits.
Yeah. So that's what I had tonight. I
Dude,
hope
it
you
was
liked
great.
it and enjoyed it. I'm sorry about last week. Yeah.
No worries. Your questions made up for it, man. I feel like exploring the power of our thoughts, what to do to change our thoughts in the moment when shitty things happen and when good things happen, but also for me, not judging and comparing myself to others, like I'm superior, I'm inferior. That guy in the jet, he's got more money, so he's superior. Like the moment I catch that, like stopping it, labeling them and judging that is not going to ever help me. I love that jet. How can I have one too? Have more money. How can I have more money? Do things that make more money. How can I do that? Align with a higher money habit, higher money thinking, higher wealth believing, and feeling. Neville Goddard wrote a book called Feeling is the Secret.
Yeah.
It's a combination. It's the thoughts, the actions, and the feeling all rolled into one. If you can't have all three, do something. Do one of them until the others come around.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
That's how we change our cellular biology and our programs.
There it is. We've answered all the questions. It's one step at a time. So that's why Walmart, huge company, has at least a yearly meeting, because they know it's hard to stay positive and very easy to always go to the negative. So they have the meeting for the positive reinforcement, and then while they're there, they're changing the molecular cells into the happy cells, and hopefully that lasts till next year. But the good thing for you and I is I will see your ass Thursday.
Thursday, 5:30. You keep your phone like it is because it's working great. This picture looks perfect, and I will get that restream closer to working than it was this time. I felt like it's close, and that way we can stream there because
All right.
eventually people are gonna catch on the authenticity of these conversations, and they're gonna be like, "Hey, I got something to say," and we welcome you.
Yeah, we sure do.
Dude, thank you. Thank you. I love you.
All
Great
right.
questions. Great
Love you too,
topic.
bro.
They're relevant to the whole world. So the hillbilly philosopher, the hillbilly physicist. I like the word hillbilly, man.
Uh,